Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Now today's clip features Suki-Wan Sifu from the Shaolin Ancestors Wing Chun Club in Guildford to the west of London. Now in this clip he talks about some of the biomechanics behind one of Wing Chun's most fundamental solo kata, the Su Nim Tao. So how is this useful for Aikido, I hear you ask? Well, I practiced Wing Chun back in university, and one of the things I found astounding was that even though the language was very, very different to the Japanese approach of Aikido, the biomechanics were almost identical in many ways. Now in this clip he breaks down two spiral redirection movements, or blocks if you like, and expresses his feelings about how the energy has to be forwards the whole time. He calls it positive energy, and also basically going towards the partner's center, which is something we do in Aikido all the time. Now, even though he's referencing their kata, for an Aikido point of view, this is absolutely essential when you're receiving, for example, a Yokomen strike or a Jodanski to the head. These kind of shapes, being able to rotate your arm and just add a bit of deflection and a bit of connection to your partner's center rather than just smacking something away, is absolutely fundamental, and I think this is wonderful. Now there's a lot of detail in this, so stick with it. It's not a very long clip, but there's an awful lot to take in. Now if you find this useful, of course, usual stuff. Smash the stuff below. Don't forget to click the little bell, because then you get notifications when we upload. And thank you for watching.
Okay, I want to just kind of go over the basics, right, starting back from the very beginning in terms of how we look at our structured flow. All right, so if I can grab Rich, I want to start with the Su Nim Tao. Now, when we look in the form, if we accept that the form is a form of referencing, what happens is that we have to interpret what the form is trying to tell us. Okay, so the first major structure flow we have in the form is going to be the tan that goes into the wu. All right, but what happens is in the form you're going to get the tan which goes in the wu, which you're going to bring back. So what you're not going to do is that you're not going to use it as tan hun wu to bring the energy back to your own center. What you're going to do is that you're going to have tan, which, as you know from the form, comes up. That goes into the futsal and into the wu. So if we look at the futsal as a mechanical connector rather than a shape. So what happens from here is that you've got the tan, fuk, wu. Now when you go into the wu, it's actually positive energy rather than coming back, which is a negative energy. Alright, so this positive energy we call gong from the bridge. So we also have gong from the stance, from the body, and then from the bridge. I want to show you here what happens, and I'll show it in the same hand to make it so you can easily understand it. So if I have the hand and I'm going into the tan, if there's any pressure on my tan, because it's a spiral, when you press this on here, the spiral opens up. Then you've got the futsal, and then you've got the wu. So at no point when I'm opening do I want to start bringing the energy back to me here. All right. So what happens? The gong is from here. The first part of the gong goes upwards, then it goes into the spiral. You already feel if there's any pressure on there, Rich is not going to be able to get any power onto my bridge from there. Now there's the futsal at play here. When you press this harder, what happens? The energy keeps on, it's all positive. Now that's connected here. He could relax, but the only problem is I'm still going forward, so he's not going to relax that position because he basically can't, because otherwise it's coming in. All right. So what we have from here is that the tan is going to open, the futsal is going to create the gong, create the power to run right through to his spine. Then you're going to go into the wu, which is actually going forwards. At this point, if you need the bong soul, you can release the energy in order to do the lap. So you redirect the energy with the bong in order to do the lap. Now if we look at it from the other side, now this is where the tan is on the inside. What happens if we're on the outside? Exactly the same. If I've got the interception of the bridge with the tan, this suddenly comes into the tan as a structure is here. But the tan is an expression. So interception, I've got the interception, it has to open. Because what happens is that the tan opens and the wu closes. All right, I'll play a drill in a minute to show you to clarify what I mean by the tan opens and the wu closes. But going back to what I was talking about, with the tan, it opens, as it opens it spirals. So if you start powering up the hand there, you can't get energy into me because of the spiral. So what happens is that if we just do it a little bit quicker, as you're not left-handed, so let's throw your right hand. So what happens, when he throws it in, there's the interception. Now as I start to spiral, the energy starts, what that does is that spiral takes out the elbow, it takes out this power as well. That allows me to now apply the wu into a position, obviously, towards his center. So if I want to start taking power, I'm not going to hold a shape. I have to go into an expression. Now for that expression, if I want to move forward, I'm going to need the futsal, which is why the next part of the form, you're going to see, it's going to go into the wu and again into the futsal. Okay, so what's going to happen is that when you intersect with the tan, it goes up, enter into the spiral, and now I've got my position from here. Everything here is all positive energy, which means that I'm still connected to his spine from this position until he relaxes that position. Can you see? When he relaxes the position, I was always going for his center. When he punches again, what happens is that because I'm only after his center, if he increases the power there, he's just giving me his center. Does that make sense? Because what happens is that we've done all this training to find his center through the bridge, i.e. using the listening. The first thing you do is that when you connect, there's the connection. There's his spine there. Alright? If he relaxes, what happens to my hand? It goes straight for his center. So we're not chasing the hand. What are we doing? We are chasing his center. So the whole point, everything we do, is based on looking for his center. Throws the same punch. If I'm using the wu, the same thing, I'm looking for his center. He could relax, but then I'm going straight to his center. Yes? If he punches again, if he doesn't relax, I've still got his center. He can move his center into me, but what's going to happen is that I'm going to redirect his center. So everything we do, tan, foot, wu, is all positive energy. And that's what we call gong. We need that positive energy on the other person, but on his center.